We are here with Michael State, and today you are going to be testing me. We're friends in real life, so this is a little bit of an interesting video to do. But you're going to be testing me on Lorcana cards, okay? I've never played the game competitively. I have no idea what these cards do. I've heard of some, like, super popular cards, but you're not going to be showing me those. You're going to be telling me 5 cards, and I'm going to be telling you whether they are good or bad. So, why don't you just get us started and telling everyone how much card game experience you have and how much Lorcana experience you have.
Alrighty, guys. Again, my name is Michael State. I've been all around in the card game community. My main game used to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever since like 2014. I had quite a number of tops in that game. I dabbled in Magic here and there. Don't really have any tops in that game. Played that more so for fun. Same with Pokemon. But then when Lorcana came out in September 2023, I got my girlfriend into it. We're both playing the game. I'm building a resume in this game. I topped the first big PPG event that Lorcana ever had. I got 3rd in that event. And just recently, the first big YCS type of event, the Disney Lorcana Challenge, I got 67th, just missing out on top 64 by 3 spots. And building a resume with that, I just got into the Chicago event. So that's going to be happening in about 10 days. So I have to literally learn the entire set 4 in 10 days. So that'll be fun. And then Texas is going to be in a month after that. So right now I'm all Lorcana. So this would be a really fun video to pick your brain about for Lorcana, since this game does have a lot of Magic similarities.
Yeah, I remember I was getting you back into Magic at one point, and then Lorcana came out, and then you're like, nope, not playing Magic anymore.
Yep, it stole my heart.
It did for sure. Okay, well let's get started with the 5 cards then. What's the first card you're going to show me? We have 5 mana with the little circles around it. I'm pretty sure that means like you can put it as mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a Beast Tragic Hero, so it's from Beauty and the Beast. We have, hopefully this doesn't get like copyrighted or anything, and it can't get copyrighted. There's no like music or anything. Okay, it's a 3/5, so 3 power, 5 toughness. Is that how you're going to say that?
Yep.
Okay, and then it is does that say Floodborn?
Yep.
Okay, Floodborn Hero Prince. We have Shift 3. You may pay 3. What is that, mana?
Yeah. So basically that means just put it on top of another card named Beast. It's like kind of an evolution in Pokemon, but like kind of not really.
Is it like Zodiac Exceed Summoning?
Kind of.
You just slap it on top?
Basically, yeah, it puts it on top, and basically if anything happens to that new Beast, the 5-drop, it basically impacts both that card and the card beneath it. So like if you were to bounce it, both cards would go back to your hand.
Okay, so it's like mutate in Magic. If you know what mutate, if you remember what mutate is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bounce something to the hand of mutate, both go back to the hand. If you put something back to the deck that has been mutated, both go back to the top of the deck. It still works like that?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
So mutate 3. All right, got it. You can pay 4 to play this card on top of one of your characters named Beast. I'm assuming there's like cheaper beasts that you can like put this on. It's better this way. At the start of your turn, if this character has no damage, draw a card. Okay, he gets +4 power this turn. Oh wow, so it's a 7/5 if it comes back to you. If they don't attack your character, is it like Hearthstone where you can attack people's characters?
Only if they're exerted, meaning tapped sideways.
Okay.
But there are cards that specifically allow you to challenge ready characters. There's like one spell in the game that can do it right now. There are other characters that naturally have the ability, but it's very niche right now.
Okay, got it. Let's see. It has 2.
Oh.
It has 2 little triangles.
Yeah, that is the win condition of the game. Like it's kind of like reverse Magic, where each character can either, once Summoning Sickness has been removed, they can either exert themselves to attack a exerted character on the opponent's side of the field, or they can turn themselves sideways to gain the lore, which are the little triangles you see on the right side of the card. And so basically you can turn them sideways and quest for 2 and add 2 to your lore total. And then once you get to 20 lore, you win the game.
So your opponent can block or no?
No blocks. There are cards that are called bodyguards, which you can have them enter already exerted, and it's basically like taunt in Hearthstone.
Okay, okay, but they still untap at the beginning of your turn, or they stay tapped?
Yep. Yeah, but to get them sideways again, you can just quest and add their lore, or you can attack and then you can protect other
Okay,
characters
so
once exerted.
you can attack and then it will still bodyguard once it's tapped. Like it's always bodyguard as long as it's tapped.
Yep.
Okay, and then you have to get through the bodyguard to get the lore.
No, you can quest even if there's a bodyguard. That's an entirely different mechanic.
Oh, so bodyguard only applies to other rested
Challenge.
characters.
Yeah, it protects your characters from being attacked. It does not tamper with your opponent's ability to quest and gain lore.
Okay, got it. So if your opponent just has a bunch of stuff in play and nothing can stop you from getting lore, why not just play like a super aggro deck and like always win?
The color Beast Steel prioritizes in damaging characters. They have a card that deals 2 to every card. They have cards that deal 1 to every card. They have cheap cards that deal 1 or 2 everywhere. So that color keeps the aggro decks in check, since all the aggro cards are like 1/1s that quest for 2, 1/1s that quest for 3. That color just keeps those decks in check.
Okay, and this is a 3/5. So how am I evaluating this card? I would say that the fact that you can use this for mana is like pretty cool. I'm not sure like how many cards let you do that. I mean, I'm sure it's like over 50% of the cards, or maybe not. I don't know.
Usually, actually, it's kind of like 70% of the pool have that symbol. You'll see cards that do not have those outer rings around the mana cost. Those are cards that are uninkable, which means you cannot put them into your hand manually with your once per turn charge, I guess, if you want to call it.
Right.
But there are cards that mitigate that, so keep that in mind.
Okay, so you know me, I like drawing cards. I like card advantage. I like mid-range stuff. Okay, this seems pretty mid-rangey to me. It's like 5 mana if you don't shift it, but like if you already have a beast, which like maybe the beast is like 2 or 3 mana, you can like kind of curve into this by like being. You can't play on your opponent's turn, right? You can't just like kill your beast in response to you mutating this.
No interaction.
Okay. So you can just like do this. Does your thing have haste when you mutate it, like magic, or does it like not have haste?
Yeah, so if you already have a character, like pretend on your turn 2, you played a 2-drop beast, and then it passes back to you. That 2-drop beast no longer has summoning sickness, so you can draw for turn, play mana, and then shift on top of that beast, and the new beast retrains all of the previous stats, including that it is no longer summoning sickness, if that makes sense.
Oh,
the
wording here is a little bit different than Magic. It says 3, and then in the mana symbol, that would mean like 4 mana in Magic, but this is 3 mana in Lorcana.
Yeah, 3 mana.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that makes that seem a lot better for me. I thought it was 4 to shift it, but it's 3 to shift it. So you play a beast on 2, and then on turn 3 you just like play this, hit them for 3, or else you don't, or maybe you don't want to hit them because you don't want this to be attacked. You just like play this and pass, and then if they have no way to tap this or exert it to attack it, you draw a card. But then if you don't draw a card, it's a 7 power card. I mean, this card just seems pretty above average. I want to say this card's above average because I like drawing cards.
Okay, that your final answer?
That's my final answer. Yeah, it's a good card.
All right, yeah. This card is one of the best cards in the game.
Let's go.
It is currently like $50. One of the few cards in the game that are actually above $50.
Jesus.
And in most steel decks, this is a 4 of. There are cards in green steel. There is a card called Morph, which is a 2-drop that can be used to shift into anything, which is kind of canonally accurate because he can morph into a beast and then you can shift on top of him.
Right.
That's kind of a strategy in those decks.
That's cool.
Yeah, nonetheless, if this card sticks around for a turn or 2 undamaged, it just snowballs because it just keeps drawing you cards.
Yeah, it reminds me of Dark Confidant, but with 5 toughness.
Exactly.
Which is really, really good. If Dark Confidant was like a 2 mana 2/3, it would be obscene. Yeah, so I can see how that card would kind of be like this. Okay, let's go to the next card. I want to know. Let's see if I can get them all right. I mean, I've played a lot of Magic, as you know, so I can kind of relate it to Magic. Oh my gosh, the first thing I noticed about this card is it has 4 lore. Okay, it's 4 mana. It can't be used for mana. Flynn Rider, his own biggest fan. Wow, that's what do you call that? Conceited? It's a four.
Yeah.
It's a 4-mana 2/3. Okay, shift 2. You can pay 2 mana. Play this on top of one of your characters named Flynn Rider. Evasive. Only characters with evasive can challenge this character, so it's kind of like flying.
Yeah.
And then one last big score. This character gets -1. Oh, okay. I get why it has 4 now. It gets -1 lore for each card in your opponent's hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's worded like that for eventual commander, right?
Yeah.
Like having more than one opponent. Okay. What do I think about this card? I feel like this card is only good if you can shift it, and if you don't have a Flynn Rider on turn 1, this card is really, really bad. And it also has a downside of losing a lore for each card in your opponent's hand. I can see there are there only 4 Flynn Rider cards that are like 1 mana?
There's only one Flynn Rider,
But you can play up to 4.
Mana.
But you can only play up to 4 in your deck. I can see how, if you have a consistent way to have the Flynn Rider on turn 1, or if this is just good on turn 3, like if you can play a card on turn 1 to like search the 1-drop Flynn Rider, turn 2, play the Flynn Rider and something else, turn 3, shift this, and then attack, because then that would immediately give you 4 lore. And how much lore do you start with?
You start with 0, but the goal is to get to 20.
To 20,
It's
okay.
like reverse magic.
So this is a fifth of your life total. So this is...
Well, remember, this card has the ability that for every card in your opponent's hand, it
gets
loses
-1.
a lore.
Yeah.
So if your opponent has 4 cards in their hand,
has 0.
it quests for 0.
Yeah, which seems like really bad. But then again, you could be trying to trick me here, saying, "Oh, it quests for 0," even though it's freaking always broken. And this green deck like has a way to discard your opponent's entire hand or something. I'm gonna say that the downsides of this card, like not being able to tap for mana, and also being shift 2 and there only being 1 Flynn Rider card that you can play on turn 1, being not as consistent enough to draw on turn 1. The evasive seems pretty good, but the fact that you can just quest anyway, like regardless of whether it's evasive or not, unless your opponent has a... You can just quest anyway regardless of whether it's evasive or not, like your opponent can't block you anyway. It loses lore. It's a 2/3, so like if it's rested or exerted, your opponent can just kill this, I guess, fairly easily. I'm going to say this card has like too many downsides to be good, and I'm going to say it's bad.
You are 100% correct. Yep, it is bad.
Okay.
But there are ways to actually like proc it to be good. So green's kind of play style is like very discardy. So there's like green always has at least 4 cards in their deck that make you discard cards. So this card's usually... Yeah. They always have cards to discard.
Crazy.
There's a 1-drop that says whenever you attack into it, it makes your opponent discard a card. There's actually a 2-drop Flynn Rider that quests for 2 that says when this card is challenged, your opponent discards a card. So that card has synergy with the same Flynn Rider that I just showed you.
Does the top card keep the same abilities as the bottom card as well? Or no? So that's the only way that it's unlike Mutate. In Mutate, they would keep the abilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even know that this color could discard cards. I was like, oh, well, maybe if you could discard cards, this card would be kind of good. But it turns out that this color can discard cards, but it's still bad. Okay.
Yeah, this color is meant for big questers, like you see here. It starts with 4 and meant to discard cards. Yep.
Are there any characters that quest for more than 4?
Not through natural means. So there's a bell that says if you have 10 or more ink, it quests for 5, but it starts for 1.
Oh my goodness, pretty good.
Yeah, that card's ridiculous.
Okay, let's go into the third card. I'm 2 for 2 now. Okay, 2 for 2. Right. Let's go.
All right, here's the boy.
Goofy.
Super.
Okay, I didn't just do that. All right. So it's a 4 mana. It can be used as okay. It can be inked. Okay, I gotta get the phrasing right. It can be inked. All right. It's a super goof. Oh my gosh. The irony of making the Goofy card an actual Goofy wording. Anyway, it's a 2 power, 4 toughness, Storyborn hero. What's the like red symbol on the left? I missed that on the first 2 cards. But what is that little symbol? Just what color it is?
Yeah, just what color it is.
Okay. So it's like a spell card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where on the top right there's like a light blue thing that says spell, but no one ever pays attention to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I almost forget that it's even there. Rush. This character can challenge the turn they're played. Okay, so this, unlike Hearthstone Rush, this can also attack your opponent too? Challenging is different than like attacking for lore, right?
Yeah. Challenge. There are two ways for the character to go exerted: questing, which is gaining the lore, and challenging, meaning you're challenging an opponent's character.
Okay, so this is the same thing as Hearthstone Rush then, where if you can attack their minion, but you can't attack them,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. With Rush, you cannot quest the same turn that it's played.
Okay, this is exactly like Hearthstone Rush. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
You played Hearthstone too, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like Hearthstone Rush, but it's not like Magic Haste, where you can't just like attack them. You can only attack the thing. Okay, Super Peanut Powers. The names of these things, man. I can't get over it. Okay. Whenever this character challenges another character, gain 2 lore. Oh, wow. I just needed to read the next line. That's okay. Well, for a goofy name, it definitely has a goofy mechanic. I'm not sure how good this mechanic is to like challenge a character, gain 2 lore, because it seems a little bit situational to me. It's also 4 mana. Because I'm not sure like how often people are attacking back and forth, which they probably are, just stacking back and forth, since there's no interaction, and you always want to be gaining lore. You can challenge another character and gain 2 lore, and also damage it. It has 4 toughness, so the way that combat works is like, does their power go to your toughness when you challenge them? Okay. I think that this would normally damage things, but I don't know if it would kill things. If you're playing against an aggro deck and you have like a 1 mana 2/2 or like the 1 mana 1/1s that quest for a lot, this card can seem like pretty good. I'm not sure what the red color is trying to accomplish though. But I would say that this is a pretty good anti-aggro tool because it will kill your opponent's thing while also giving you lore. So it's like it seems like really good if you're playing against aggro. So are there sideboards or no?
No.
Okay. If you are playing as aggro, this card is really good. But how many, like, I would feel like if you're playing against a control deck, this card would be super bad. Because, like, you don't want to be playing 4 mana 2/4 that can't attack their creatures if they don't have any creatures because they're playing a control deck. Yeah. But if you're playing against aggro, this card is, like, the best card in your deck. Like, kill their thing and gain lore. Like, I'm pretty sure that's just, like, all you want to be doing if you're playing against aggro. Because you want to kind of race, you kind of want to control the board while you're also trying to win the game, because all you do is control the board forever, and you never try to actually get lore. They're just eventually going to kill you, I assume. So, because they're going to have more creatures than you have, like removal spells. The fact that this can attack and challenge their thing and kill it and gain 2 lore, and then if they don't kill it on your turn, you untap with it, and then you get to do it again. That seems like really, really good. It's just how prevalent is like a super tiny aggro deck in the format. I'm gonna say this card's pretty medium, but I also asked you to like give me either good or bad cards. But I'm gonna lean towards this card being good.
All right, it is very good.
Oh,
yep.
Let's go.
Yeah. So in theory, like the opponent, unless you're playing a super control deck, like you mentioned, they're always going to have a character sideways because they're either going to challenge your things that gain lore, or they are going to gain lore themselves, especially in the early game while their things are not being threatened. So you hold this in your hand until turn 4. You just get 2 lore off rip, turn 4.
Yeah.
And it having 4 toughness will survive most threats that are being presented to your opponent by turn 3. Yeah. So definitely is a very, very good card.
And then you get to untap and do it again, like if they have something else rested. Correct. So like they kind of have to kill this if you've already rushed and killed something else and like damaged your goofy. They have to kill the goofy, right? Instead of attacking you, which is like pretty good for you also.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. 3-0. Come on, State. Come on.
All right. This is your next one.
All right. Lucky Dime. 7 mana item. Item's like an artifact or something?
Yes.
Does it stay in play?
Yes.
Okay, so it's an artifact. Okay. Number 1. What is that? Tap it? Exert it? That symbol there? Okay. Exert it and pay 2 mana. Pay 2 ink. Choose a character of yours and gain lore equal to their lore. Hold on. No. Oh, God. What is this card? Like, this is so weird. It can't be used for mana. Can you cheat this out? Are there cards that are like Tinker in Magic that's like put an item in play?
Very few that can get this out. I think there's maybe one card that can do it, but I don't know if that works for 5 or below or for all items. So that one doesn't come to the top of my head. But I will give you a little hint. Blue is ramp.
Oh, got it. Okay. I'm thinking blue is like, blue. It seems like green is like black and blue is green in this game. Compared to
Red
Magic.
is more black. Red is more black. They have a lot of removal tools.
Okay. The thing about the green card is that they had a lot of discard, and black and Magic has a lot of discard cards.
Yeah.
So it'd be in that way. But anyway, choose a character viewers and gain lore equal to their lore. Like, I feel like this card, if it was in play, it's like a super fast clock. Like, your opponent is just going to die to this if they don't remove this. How much like items removal is there?
There's a lot.
That makes this so much worse to me. Like, imagine never using this for mana. Go ahead.
It's generally only in 1, maybe 2 colors. Only 1 or 2 colors have item removal, and like good item removal.
But you can like combine colors though, up to 2 colors.
2 colors total. Yep.
So like, it's kind of like green. In the green has like a lot of good item like artifact removal and enchantment removal, and artifact and enchantment removal in green and Magic. But white has a lot of enchantment removal, and red has a lot of artifact removal. So it's like 3 colors can technically remove like artifacts / enchantments, but any deck can, like almost any deck can play them, because like the amount of combinations of decks that you can play is very high. So in Magic, so you could just play a green-blue deck, and while the blue color doesn't have access to killing artifacts and enchantments, if you have green in your deck, you can just play that card, and you can just always get rid of the artifact or enchantment, even if you're just playing a blue color. So because you can combine colors in this game, like the combinations of those 2 decks of different varieties of decks can always play a card to get rid of an item. And you said there is sideboard cards or no? There's a sideboard or no?
No sideboard.
Ooh. Okay, so that makes it almost like Pokemon deck building, where you don't have a sideboard and you kind of have to like main deck tech cards.
Yes.
Which is like interesting deck building, which I like. But how good do I think Lucky Dime is? I mean, paying 2 mana and tapping it to just gain lore every turn, regardless of whether your opponent's removing your thing or not, seems really, really good against like the removal spell deck. Because you don't have to have a creature live. You can just play a creature. You can have this on board, play a creature, and then just like make it lore. Like gain lore equal to their lore, even though your opponent's gonna kill it anyway. You can just do that. But I'm gonna say that since you can't use this for mana, and it's 7 mana, and there's a couple of colors that deal with items, that this card is too clunky to be good, and I think it's bad.
It's good.
Damn it!
This card's kind of crazy.
God.
Yeah. So remember that bell I was talking about?
Yeah.
It starts at 1, but if you get to 10, it quests for 5. This card actually works with it. So if you tap it, you gain 5 lore if she's met her conditions.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And with blue being a ramp deck, you can actually get this card out by like turn 4 or turn 5.
Oh.
And a lot of the times, you don't play this card on 7 and leave it there. You want to play this card and use it in the same turn.
Yeah, you want it on 9, yeah.
Yeah.
But you want it with 9 lore, but like I was gonna say, like how good is it? Like, are you only using this one time and then your opponent's like, okay, I remove your thing. So it's like that's kind of like why I didn't think it was as good.
Yeah, currently item removal is like kind of phasing out since one of the better decks is not really using items. So that's why this card is very good right now. Just depending on what the format brings for the next set.
Okay.
All right.
Let's look at the last card. Unfortunately, I can't go 5-0, which I wanted to, but let's see if I can go 4-1. The last card is Maleficent. It's a 5 mana, 2/3, Storyborn Villain Sorcerer, Dark Knowledge. Whenever this character quests, you may draw a card. Jesus. Okay, Divination. Does this draw 2? During your turn, whenever you draw a card, you may remove 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character.
Yeah, so it takes damage from your characters and puts it on your opponents.
So it heals you to damage them.
Yeah. Or you can move damage around from your opponent's field to their own.
Okay. Yeah. How good do I think a 5 mana 2/3 is? Not that good. How good do I think drawing cards is? You already know. Pretty freaking good. Whenever it quests, you can draw a card. But it has 3 toughness. So like you play this on 5, you attack with this, and then you attack with this, you draw a card, you gain 2 lore, and your opponent kills this immediately. Which seems like the play pattern of this, especially since it's 5 mana. I think this purple color is like a control deck where it plays like Be Prepared, because I know that card. And do you want to play Maleficent in your deck that kills the board? I'm not sure if you want to be doing that. I do have some added context, unfortunately, to this purple color, because it's like apparently super good or whatever.
Yeah.
I like drawing cards. I'm going to tell you that. But, and I like moving damage around, but I think, and the fact that you can use this for mana, I think is good too. A lot of good things about this card.
Yeah.
But I think 2 lore, 3 toughness, 5 mana is too clunky to ask for, and I think this card's bad.
Yes, you are correct.
Let's go!
Just for the fact that it has 3 toughness is awful. The fact that you have to wait for turn 5 for this card, awful. And essentially it makes it a turn 6 card to where you play her on 5, she does literally nothing for you off rip, unless you somehow draw a card during your turn that excludes paying mana. There's a 3-drop spell that says you can exert a character 3 or more to draw 2 cards. That's the only line of play to where it makes this card useful on the turn that you play it. So like it takes a lot of setup, and it also requires you to maximize its benefits to have a damaged character. It asks for so much without barely any payoff.
Right. Sick. 4-1. I should have got that freaking huge gigantic artifact, man. I would have been 5-0. God, I just can't think a gigantic artifact is that good. Like, if you're a Lorcana player and you're watching this, play item removal. Okay, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
anyway,
it is.
Thanks, man. I had a blast evaluating these cards. They're really cool, and it does play a lot like Magic. I guess that's why I got like a lot of them right, because I'm like, if I played this in Magic, how good would it be? Like,
yeah,
it does seem a little bit like Magic. But thank you, Michael. Where can we find you online or social media or whatever?
My Facebook, just Michael State, and currently I'm sponsored by Luxury Gaming. You'll see me in all of their posts for Lorcana, and we're all going to be going to the next, almost every event, we're all going to be there. So keep your eye out for us. And our Twitch is going to be twitch.tv/Luxcana, LUXCANA, and you'll see us streaming almost every day during the week.
Nice. Okay. Well, when you're at a Lorcana event, look across from you, and if it's not him, you're happy. If it's him, you're not happy. Okay, I promise you. He's a really good Yu-Gi-Oh player too, from the Yu-Gi-Oh community. But anyway, thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure to check out ProdigyGames.com and use code JAME7 at checkout, JAME7 at checkout, to get 7% of literally anything in the store. Michael State's link will be down in the description below as well, so make sure to check that out. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.